Hello and welcome to Talking TSM, the Game House's talk show about TSM's LCS team. I'm Robert Haynes, your host and your guide into the world of TSM and their LCS team. And yeah, three episodes in a row. Actually, you guys are now guaranteed to get 4 episodes in a row, as I will be recording 2 episodes today. So you're going to see the same getup. Old TGH logo hat and old TGH logo sweatshirt. I'm sure some of you at some point have wondered, why does he wear so many sweatshirts? And it's because I like to keep my house cool, you know? Back in college, and this is actually a funny little story here. Well, not the story itself. The connection to what is happening and why I'm recording 2 episodes. Is because I will be in Austin, Texas, for my buddy's wedding next week. Wednesday through like Tuesday, technically. And so, you know, I figured I'd record 2 episodes, and it just got me thinking about, back in college, this person whose wedding I'm going to was my roommate in college. And so we were, we both liked our room very cold, to the point of where I think we kept it at like 65 sometimes, just so that we could wear like super, cold sweatshirts or big sweatshirts and just kind of relax, and so that's why I like to do it. I like to bundle up. So a little bit of lore, I guess, about me in the show, but that's not why you're here. You're not here because you care about where I'm going or why I'm wearing sweatshirts. You are here because, well, we got to talk about TSM, as is the name of the show. I hope you all have had a good week, by the way. It's been a busy one for me. But I can say, that I've been, I'm going to be working on making improvements to the show again. I will be working on trying to, really, I'm going to really think out a little bit more of kind of the way I'm going to do this show for the future too. I'd love to know in the comment section below. Actually, there's a chance that I may just stick to 1 episode a week during the season, as I'm going to be coming out with a lot of other content. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm for sure going to do that, by the way. I am just stating the fact that if you guys would like it, I can do 1, or if you would prefer that I stick with the 2 episodes, the preview and the recap during the summer, please let me know. I guess the last little bit of news-ish, I guess just housekeeping, is we will have the 100th episode of Talking TSM coming up here very, very soon. Funny enough, I believe this will be episode 97. The other one I'm recording is 98. Then we'll have 99, as comes after 98. And then 100 will come right after I turn 30 years old, because I'm an old man, at least in the esports world. So, yeah, it's funny that it kind of just, crosses over with my birthday, funny enough. So, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do yet. I would also love suggestions in the comments as to what you guys would like for a special episode. I can tell you I will probably be doing another giveaway during that time period, so make sure that you let your friends know who like TSM or who just like LCS, stuff in general, because that will be the plan as of right now, at least. So, with that, it's time to actually talk about TSM stuff. I went 5 minutes, almost to the minute, or to the second, I should say. Talking about myself. So, this week, the only bit of real news that we got has been outside of TSM. I'm going to talk about that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to dive into more of, I don't know, something that I wanted to. I was re-listening a little bit to last week's episode, and I think I want to dive a little deeper into kind of TSM's plans in the future. Um, I know I said I was probably going to wait on that, but I think this is a good time to go about it. So yeah, the first thing here is our pal Hatham. Um, not somebody that I know personally or anything, but a guy who's been there for a couple years now as an analyst for TSM. He also is from my alma mater, Miami University in Ohio. Great esports program, by the way, if you're looking to get into the esports world. But he's been over at TSM for a few years now, and he was kind of like one of the last guards, the old guards of TSM, and I thought he might be staying for a while because it seemed like he was kind of in a good position, and it felt like, with K still there, things kind of were, I don't know, stabilizing a little bit. But he has decided to move on to Team Liquid, which there's some thoughts running through my head about that one. I think specifically he probably went over there for Bjergsen. I'm sure Bjergsen probably spoke pretty highly of him. I was a little surprised considering they already have a couple coaches. I don't think they let anybody go. So I guess Steve just decided to fork up some more money, get somebody with some more knowledge in there for the game. I guess I'm a little surprised. I figured if he was going to move somewhere, it would be for a head coaching job or an assistant coaching job. But I guess that is not the way he has decided to go. And this move just kind of, I don't know. I think exemplifies the future. And I guess the last bit before I go into that, the last, I think, more interesting news before we dive into the future and why I think Hatham is probably one of the last subtractions that we'll have, at least until the offseason, is we got to talk real quickly about Jensen heading back to Cloud9 and Sven as support. Cloud9 loves to finagle and mess around, right? But it was, they obviously things didn't go well. They lost their MVP to, I guess, just discontent with the way the rest of the roster played. And his playoff performance was night and day difference between what he had done during the regular season. So I guess I get it. I wish that rosters wouldn't be, LCS rosters wouldn't be so quick to just change everything, but whatever. I mean, even TSM, after the horrible start that we had, we're only changing realistically one player. We're changing two on our academy, but it's like, academy is what it is. It's a place to get the best talent that you can and hopefully bring them up one day. I really think that Jensen coming back and a mechanically sound player like Sven going to support and Fudge going back to top lane, I do think it makes C9 a threat. I think hopefully we'll play them. Hopefully we play them week 1, because I think they're probably going to be a little rusty. Jensen's been out of the scene now for a couple months. I don't think he's going to be that rusty, but it's new team and everything, and Fudge getting back, used to top lane waves and everything like that. And then, Sven, while yes, he has, played AD carry his entire career at support, I think he's going to be able to, how would I put this? I think he's going to understand the laning phase well. I just wonder how he's going to get used to the roam timers and everything else. But, I mean, there's never been, at least to my knowledge, a player that grinds the game as much as Sven has, at least in the few years that he has been here. I've always heard him being, one of the top, solo queue players, putting in the most time in terms of, grinding to the highest level that he can, and really understanding his champions mechanically. And I understand this is not, talking C9, but I do think it's relevant to what we are facing at TSM, because, having a better mid laner is going to make Cloud9 more of a problem, truthfully. I mean, we already have 100 Thieves, who I think is extremely strong, and, Gamsu just left, so I think that means Tenacity is going back down to Academy, which is a shame, but understandable. Then, which, by the way, I think I know where he's going, I think, for Gamsu. I think he's going to get a starting job in the LCS, which is awesome. That would be great, even if it's just for a split. And then, I think, TL obviously are going to be good. EG haven't looked great at MSI. I mean, they've smoked, Oceania. I mean, it's been just the tale of two different teams. And they haven't looked outclassed completely by G2. They struggled against Caps and Yankos, who have clearly a ton of experience and who are heads above what I think EG were doing outside. Inspired played pretty well the other day. And I think JoJo's been fine, but I think the bot lane specifically has been exposed a little bit, which is, a bit of a problem, but whatever, that's fine. I think they're learning a lot. But you put those four teams, right? C9, TL, 100 Thieves, and EG already up there. FlyQuest, I don't think makes any changes, but they look better. They look like they're going to be a pretty solid team overall. And I, depending on what Golden Guardians does next, that seems like it's going to be, well, something. And depending what Dig do next, that's going to be, well, also something. Immortals are apparently acquiring Lost. And now then they're going to have Revenge. I think it's going to probably end up being Svenskeren, most likely, it would seem. Power of Evil, Lost, and I forget who their new support... Oh, and Ignar. So it's like... I mean, outside of really CLG, top to bottom right now, the LCS is going to have probably the most parity that we can remember. Like, there's just going to be a lot of really good teams. And as I started really considering this, I wondered to myself, what does this mean, for TSM? And I kind of came to a tough realization. This team, while I do think they've made good moves for the summer, and I think they'll be competitive in the summer, I don't know as much about long-term anymore. Even from just last week, when really considering all of these moves that have been made, because, it's... The LCS is starting to figure itself out, guys. It is not like it was in the past where, we we would sit there and be like, oh, the rest of these teams are there's four teams that are just battling it out for last, right? I mean, when you look at these rosters, I'm just going to quickly read through all of this. I really want you guys to soak this in. 100 Thieves, Someday, Closer, Abadage, FBI, and Huhi with Reapered as their coach. I hope that team stays together for a while, to be honest with you, just because I want to see an LCS team just really stick with it. They will have been the same team for 3 straight splits, which is, I think, potentially a record outside of us and TL back in the day, right? Then Cloud9 again, Fudge, Blabber, Jensen, Berserker, and Sven. With, I think, Max Waldo, who doesn't get enough credit for what this team was able to still accomplish after losing their head coach. CLG is I think, the one team that's going to be pretty bad. I think it's going to end up being Dokla in the top lane, splitting time with Jenkins probably. Maybe Rosethorn in the jungle. I don't really know what that team's going to do yet. I think they'll keep Palafox, Luger, and Poom most likely, and that'll be about it. Dignitas, this is where I am predicting Gamsu goes, by the way. I think Gamsu, River, Blue, Neo, and Biofrost. Not an amazing team, but one that we saw last year can battle with just about anybody, especially Blue showing off that he's really actually not that bad. Evil Geniuses, Impact, Inspire, Jojo Pyun, Danny, and Vulcan with Peter Dunn. That's one of the more formidable fives for the future too. Inspired, Jojo, and Danny, like, people forget. I mean, go watch the interview that we did with Inspired. There's a very clear understanding that this team is built for the future. I mean, they're all 17, 18, 19 years old. They're babies. We'll see what they do, to replace Impact. FlyQuest. Kumo started playing better. Jose Dioto. Takui. Johnson. Aframu. We saw this team perform. They were solid. Golden Guardians. Licorice. Who knows in the jungle yet? Blaze Olive. Who knows at AD carry? Who knows with, Ole? Golden Guardians still has, I think, 2 very solid solo laners in Licorice and a Blaze Olive. And knowing them, they're going to probably pick up some young talent to place in the other spots that I think could create another, pretty solid team. Immortals, Revenge, Chad or Svenskeren, most likely, Power of Evil, Lost, Ignar, solid team. Whippo, Santorin, Bjergsen, Hansama, Core JJ for Team Liquid. And then you have us, Huni, Spica, Maple, Tactical, and Shinyi. Guys, I read these teams and I'm like, okay, TSM should be better than Dignitas. TSM should be better than CLG. TSM should be better than Golden Guardians. Likely, we're probably better than Immortals and probably better than FlyQuest, right? Which puts Evil Geniuses, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and Team Liquid. That puts us 5th right now. And then when I look towards the future, I think, all right, 100 Thieves is still pretty young overall. They could probably do at least another year. I mean, Huhi's getting up there, Someday's getting up there, but they're core positions, where you need to have the mechanical skills still, are still young. Cloud9. Fudge is still a baby. Blabber is still very young. Berserker is a baby. Sven and Jensen Jensen and Sven, along with Bjergsen, are clearly proving that it doesn't matter once you're over the hump at 25. Like, that's not the case. They clearly are still able to play the game well. It's just about burnout, and they've not experienced it. I mean, Jensen and Sven will probably play until their 30s if they are able to. Sorry, guys. CLG, I think Luger for sure is going to be kind of their superstar. They'll build around him, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. Dignitas, We don't really know for sure. With Bio being a little bit up there, River has got experience, but I mean they still are solid depending on and if they get Gamsu for sure, then they're a little on the older side, but they'll be fine. Evil Geniuses. I mean, again, that core: Inspire, JoJo, Danny, FlyQuest, the young guys: Jose, Diodo, Takui, Golden Guardians, Licorice, Place Olive. Like, you look at the cores of these teams, right? And they're set up for the future because, like, even Team Liquid, right, the oldest team in the league, they're not going to change that team, most likely at least, next year at all, potentially. I think the only move they could make is they kick Santorin for Spica. Potentially. That would give them at least somebody younger along with Hansama. I do really wonder where Ayla's going to go. Where he's going to end up. But, the thing is I guess the reason why I am pointing this out is I look at our team going forward, and I really do wonder what is next. I believe, as I said in the last episode, there is a plan, and we can see the beginnings of it, which I think is amazing. But I worry now that this organization, the people at the top, specifically Reggie maybe even, may not have the patience to allow a younger team to compete because, if you go, I think it's always going to have to be a mix of vets, which I don't love. I wish they would just let a team grow together with maybe one veteran, similar to how Evil Geniuses, to a certain degree, have done. And Vulcan's obviously been around for a while, but he's still pretty young. But, I wonder because it felt like we had some good starts and some good pieces, and it felt like we were building for Spica, right? If Spica's not going to be our plan for the future, who is? Every one of these teams, even CLG, has somebody to build around, right? 100 Thieves is well established, but it was always FBI and Closer, right? For Cloud9, it's been Fudge, Blabber, now Berserker, right? Again, CLG, it's Luger. Dignitas, it was Neo. We'll see if that one stays. Evil Geniuses, I'm not going to say it again. FlyQuest, not going to say it again. Golden Guardians, not going to say it again. Immortals, it seems to be about revenge, which is strange. And then for Team Liquid, they don't care. All 5 of their players are good. Who is going to be that for TSM now? Because there was a poll on the Team Solo Mid Reddit by user Fallen Gear a couple days ago. Had 3,500 votes. Do you think Spica will leave this year? Personally, I hope he stays with TSM. 2,400. Okay, about 60, that's like 67%? No, that's more than that, right? No, it's about 67. Well, shoot. All right, math. Guys, bad at math. Getting out my calculator. Yeah, okay, it's about 67%, 68. 69 if you want to round up. Nice. Close to 7 out of 10 people think that Spica's gone next year. So if that's the case, and we have already talked about, our future-ish, who do you build around? Every team needs a core player that makes you good, because otherwise, right, you lose some branding opportunities. And not just that, but these players, you have to remember, are the ones who can help bring people to your team for the future. When Bjergsen was on TSM, right, there were a lot of people who came to TSM because they wanted to play with Bjergsen. When we won our title in 2020, Doublelift said he wanted to come back to TSM to play with Bjergsen. Sword Art initially wanted to play with Bjergsen. He got coached by Bjergsen. That's why he came over here. In the past, when Sven and Mithi came over, they came over to play with Bjergsen. Do you get what I'm getting at? I hope you do. TSM have, and every good team always has somebody to build around. Has that star player that sells jerseys, that helps bring in fans. While I think TSM's future is bright and they have people who could theoretically do it, the way they are building right now is the only players that they may keep are Maple, Tactical, and Shinyi. Potentially. But I think Instinct and Soul are probably they're probably not going to be in the picture in 2023. They probably should be, but they probably won't be. And that makes me wonder, who's it going to be? Who is going to be the face of the franchise? Like all these other teams are doing. And then how are they going to build the rest of that team? Like, again, I think it was supposed to be Spica. I think that was pretty obvious at the moves that they were making. Then Spica got unhappy. Then everybody left. Well, everybody left first. Then Spica got unhappy, understandably. And if he's going to be gone, then what's the next step? And it's really, I think, going to depend on how this team plays. Now, if these 5 players show out, right, and they're able to play really well, I think there's a chance that Spica stays and that they say, hey, we're going to run it back one more year. Right? And then they keep building up an academy, right? They probably let Takeover and Hyper leave. They likely let Mia leave. They grab 3 more young players that can push at any, push whoever at any point in time. But I think I feel that there is a direction. And I think they're starting to put the pieces of that direction together. But I wonder, who's going to be that person? Because the reality is, unless if you find a Core JJ, right, where you find an Alfari in support and top, right, who are just head and shoulders above basically everybody else. The core person of your team generally needs to either be your jungler, your mid laner, or your AD carry. I think that's always kind of been how it is supposed to be. So, I don't know if it's Instinct. We haven't seen that yet. I guess it could be. It certainly could be. But again, Instinct's not ready yet. He's still very young. And then could it be Soul? Soul is really good, but well, at least is apparently really good. I can't say that I've seen him play myself, but from what I can tell, everybody is very excited about him, including other teams, as to him being very good. Now, again, TSM have as we talked about, at least set themselves up for the future to only need one more position of native players at either jungle, mid laner, or support. And once the real offseason comes about, we will look at that. But I think this team is going to have to make a big move here come the full real offseason. And I think they're going to have to acquire a player that they can truly build around. The next person who they are going to say is their focus, right? Their guy, or would be really cool if there was a girl who came up, through the system. That'd be pretty awesome. The piece, the start of the plan is there, guys. It is. But I really feel like losing Spica is going to be, like, we're going to go into next year and everybody's going to, like, I guess the reason that I'm, sorry, I know I'm going around and about a little bit, is because this summer is going to be fun. Like, we need to enjoy this summer because I think this team is going to be competitive. And I think that they are going to play well. I don't know that they're going to go to NSI that they're going to go to Worlds. I don't know that they're going to be able to compete, and go very far in playoffs. I know I am very confident that they're going to make playoffs in what is going to be a competitive league. But the after means that we might need to embrace for a time of losing. And I really hope that, that Dominic and Glenn, and potentially even Reggie, if should that be the case, I hope that they let us know that. We've talked about it. I can see the plan. You guys can see the plan. It's there. The plan is there, but are they really ready to be likely a 9th place or 10th place team for at least another split or two starting next year? Because if you just go out and you spend a bunch of money and sign people, I don't really know who you're going to get. And I don't know. I mean, are they going to say, hey, we're going to build around Maple? Fine. But I can already tell you, Tactical is probably not going to want to stay if Spica's gone. Now, he may still want to just because it's a job, but, like, he may not really want to be there. Right? And there's truly a world where, because, like, Hooney's contract is up. Spica's contract is up. Tactical has one more year. Maple has, I think, one more year after this. Shenyi is here through 2024. I think Hooney and Spica are gone. Will Tactical try to force his way out? I could see that happening too. And then you are left with Maple and Shenyi. Fine. That's okay, especially if Maple performs and Shenyi performs. But then, again, you got to find a new jungler. And there's going to be one name that I'm going to throw out there right now. And one name that is going to make our friend Mallory so unbelievably excited. And I truly think a path that TSM could take. Why not Kenvi? Why not Kenvi? Now, we're going to do more research. There will be other players. And, for those of you who do not know, I know I dropped Will last week, and some of you were a little confused. Totally understandable, by the way. Kenvy is only 19. He'll be turning 20 later this year. And he has spent almost 2 full years, basically. By the end of this year, will be 2 full years, kind of plus. Not kind of plus. It'll be like almost 2.5 years in the 100 Thieves system. And he is very good. He is very, very good. Very talented young player. And as of right now, at least, he had stated apparently that unless if he was going to be with a top 5 team, he did not want to leave the 100 Thieves Academy because it's comfortable. He's good there. And I think they were initially thinking, well, maybe Closer's season was just a one-off. It's clearly not. Closer's a beast. And he is still pretty young in his own right. I believe he is, like 22, 23? No, I guess he's a little older, but, comparatively. But if TSM, right, are going to... Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get to this with my left hand. If TSM are going to try to start over, which is wrapping all the way back to the Hatham thing, I think where they are cleaning house to set up and do their own thing, right? As in Glenn and Dominic. It's going to be their people who are there. It's going to be their team that they have built. Right? And they're going to try to turn it around as quickly as possible. But I also know that, especially Dominic, yes, he likes to win. But he also likes to win all the time, not just for one split. Which right now we are in win mode for one split. I think if Spica is gone, Shane Kenneth Espinoza Kenvy from the Philippines. Who else came from the Philippines? Oh, wait. Is it that ex-Smithy guy, I believe, is also from the Philippines and was a jungler? Now, that's totally tinfoil hat me. I say that mostly in jest. It doesn't... Just because a player is from the same area and plays the same position doesn't mean they're necessarily going to connect. But it is interesting that ex-Smithy happens to come over to TSM, which is a good pickup in and of its own right. But could Kenvy be that next guy for us? I would have loved if we would have picked him up maybe this split or last split, and we're not necessarily going to be a top-tier team, but I think Kenvy's going to have to realize that none of these top teams, as we have talked about, as I've talked about at length today, who is he going to replace? Blabber? No. Closer? Maybe, just because he's on 100 Thieves, but unless if they really, really soil their bed, that's not going to happen. He's not going to replace Inspired on Evil Geniuses. If Santorin, does get kicked off of Team Liquid after a pretty good season, I think it's going to be for Spica, so I doubt that that's going to happen. Even Jose Diodo, I don't think could... if FlyQuest, I think, were smart, they might replace Jose Diodo, but I shouldn't say it that way, sorry. If they wanted to... I think have a better chance of winning, that would be without Jose Diodo. Kenvy would be better, but Jose Diodo brings in a very good fan base, and he played a lot better last split. So, in reality, the only teams that are going to be available to him are going to be Golden Guardians, maybe Immortals, maybe TSM, and CLG. And if I'm him, and I'm saying, hey, and if I'm Dominic and Glenn, by the way, I am looking at this as a huge opportunity should Spica leave, which if he's going to leave anyways, they should be just kind of making preparations to believe that he already is going to, and they should already be kind of reaching out to Kenvi and to 100 Thieves and saying, hey, at the end of this season, when Spica leaves, we will spend money to take Kenvi off of your hands. And Kenvi, you're going to want to come over here because here is our grand plan. And I think that's how you do it. Because then, theoretically, if this team needed to truly start over to a certain degree, let's say that Soul ends up being an absolute god mode, right? You could have Soul in the top lane. Okay, Mallory, I hear you. I already see you in this. You need to calm down, my friend. I'm kidding. I'm just as hyped as you are. This could be a really fun team. You have Soul in the top lane, right? Then you have Kenvi in the jungle. Then you have Maple. Then you have either Tactical or Instinct, preferably Tactical at least. And then you have Shinyi. And then you start, and then you, for your academy team, you find another mid laner. You grab some 16, 17-year-old stud and you stick them in the mid lane in academy for a year. And that's how you start building your team for future success. And that's a team that could theoretically compete next year without having to be terrible. Because otherwise, if they can't find somebody like that, then TSM is going to be in a pretty rough spot next year. And they're going to probably have to go with a mostly young team and probably like Maple and Tactical. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it really is. Like, we're really... I know I'm playing, like, kind of armchair GM here and really kind of just putting some stuff out there, but when I look at the future of this org, I genuinely... I see the plan, but you got to have that pillar, that centerpiece. I think Kenvi could be that. I still think Will could be too. I think Will's a little less experienced, though. That one's a little bit more of a risk. But, again, Kenvi wants a spot. It's going to have to happen next year. Otherwise, he's going to start, kind of getting to that place where he's wasting his time. He's wasting talent. And 100 Thieves they're gonna charge a premium for him. I don't know that. Well, Golden Guardian certainly doesn't have the money. I don't know that CLG is gonna have the money to fork it up. I truly believe that if Spica leaves, I'm the more that I'm even talking about it now, even before when I had done my research before this episode, I think Kenvi's gonna be our guy. And I think that they might just bring up X Smithy to be the head coach next year. And I think that could be a pretty interesting and potentially very winning combination for the next couple of years. What do you guys think? Let me know. Who do you think could be the face of TSM should Spica leaves? I know I gave you guys 3 things to throw in the comments, but we got a lot of stuff we got to talk about. So, yeah. All right. With that, if you like the show, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment. If you're watching our YouTube channel, make sure to check out our new show that I am on, along with my good friend Terry O, called The Gamer Guys, or GG. And, this week, I can't remember what we're going to be talking about. We talked about Overwatch 2 the last couple weeks. I think we might be talking MSI this week. We'll see. But regardless, hit that bell icon so you don't miss another episode of this or that. No relation to the other show that the LCS does. I do want to continue to make this the number 1 TSM LCS podcast out there. Please leave a review if you feel so inclined. Also, tell your friends. Tell them to come on in. The Discord is wide open. A lot of great conversation about MSI and, well, plenty of other things. You can also follow me on Twitter at TGH Robert Haynes or the Gamehouse at TGH Esports. We have a new person over there on the social media side doing an excellent job. So make sure to give them some love. Go see what they're posting. Lastly, head to thegamehouse.com. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out and potentially a new surprise coming here in the next month or so. Little wink wink action, With that, thanks for tuning in. This show comes out every Monday and is exclusively for your TSM ear holes. I'm Robert Haynes, and this has been Talking TSM. I'll see y'all next time.